Good evening, friends. I'm Abhijit, your host for this evening. Welcome to NMBF Coffee Chats. NMBF Coffee Chats is essentially a Christian church-based channel, and we try to talk about issues and topics that really matter to our living here as individuals and as a community. In the society. And so, there has been so much buzz about AI and ChatGPT. So we've just decided to talk on that, to have a conversation about that. And we are really grateful that the Lord has really brought about this event, which we were trying to get, the right resource people for that. But finally we are here today. There were some difficulties, but we have finally managed to, get those resource people by the grace of God. And we'll be what we'll be doing today is we'll be having the speakers speak one by one, and afterwards again they will take their turns. And after that we will have the question answer session, and and that's when we'll close. So please hold on to your questions, towards the end. So, as is what we do with all our meetings, we will start with a word of prayer. And yes, I request is Mary, are you there?
Good evening, Pastor. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mrs. Jacob. Yes. Okay, fine. Yeah, Mrs. Jacob, would you please say a word of prayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a prayer committee. Yes, Pastor. I'm doing.
Yeah.
Lord God, thank you, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you for this opportunity. Father, who are going to speak about the matter, Father, be with them, and Father, speak through them, Father. And who are hearing the this program, Father, give them wisdom to understand, Father. Thank you, Father. Thank you for this opportunity. Once again, we are all surrendering into thy hands. I'm asking and pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah, thank you. Okay, in case some of us are from other faith, please stick around. Our speakers will be really speaking in quite general and objective way, and surely you will be able to get something, draw something out of it. And yes, there will be a Christian perspective also at some point. Yeah. So, so I want to once again extend a warm welcome to our speakers, Brother Bhagirath K, and Please Suman Kumar. So very, very thankful to God that you all have taken time to come and meet with us. So this evening, I just want to quickly introduce our speakers. Bhagirath Kumar Ladder, is that correct, brother? Pronunciation?
Yeah, we call Ladher, but it is okay.
Ladher. Okay. Bhagirath Kumar Ladher is working as Chief Minister. Chief Manager in GAIL India Limited, and has around 19 years of work experience in IT domain. He is certified in machine learning from Stanford University and Harvard University, and has been instrumental in leading AI-related business applications in his organization. P. Suman Kumar, the speaker, is a true tech industry veteran with over 2 decades of experience as a founder, software engineer, and technical product manager. 8 years ago, he dived headfirst into the world of AI as a technical product manager at Bing Microsoft. He is currently leading a startup team focused on building cutting-edge AI applications. He resides in the beautiful city of Munich with his wife and 2 wonderful children. He has been Bhagirath's senior from IIT Delhi, where they both studied computer science. So we are very happy on this forum where 2 old friends are meeting once again, teaming up and helping some of us who are a little ignorant and confused about this topic, sharing their wisdom. So we welcome you, friends and brothers in Christ. So, Brother Bhagirath will be speaking first, giving his presentation, followed by Brother Suman. And then afterwards, they will again take turns to speak, and then we will have the open for Q&A. Yes. So, over to Brother Bhagirath.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor, and thank you, Suman, and welcome everyone for this wonderful time together. I have shared my screen, and I hope it is visible to all of
Yes,
you.
yes, it is here.
Yeah. And if you have anything to ask or question, please you can just write it on the chat so that we can take it up whenever it is appropriate. Otherwise, we will be taking the questions at the end. So first of all, I would like to start with this story, and like story where we all know, in the Bible, there is this two uh, trees in the Garden of Eden, and one of the trees is called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And God said to mankind, to Adam and to Eve, that do not eat from this tree, because if you eat from this tree, then you will surely die. And but somehow the fall of humanity happened, and they did eat from that tree, and they became conscious of their status, their being, their the kind of whether they are wearing clothes or not. And I mean, ultimately a moral dilemma or other questions like ethics. So those things came into picture of humanity. And rightly, we call human beings Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens means the wise man. So this wise man, or you can say intelligent man. So this intelligence is a very important subject, because this is what probably defines us and makes us distinct from other creatures which God has made, other than the biblical perspective that God has also made us in his image, which is probably, you know as I believe, may not be true for all other creatures, but human beings are unique. But this particular aspect, intelligence, this makes us very special, because it has given human beings an edge over other animals and other creatures. So let us talk about this important subject first before we get into GPT, Chat GPT. And I will be talking about, as you can see on the screen, what is AI, then history of AI, then we will talk about Chat GPT, which Suman will mostly take up. Then we will talk about limitations, and then we talk about what uses make it a boon, or what uses may make it a curse. And then we talk about two important subjects: responsible AI, explainable AI, and AI research trends. So this is how we are going to frame our session. So first of before we start, I would like to express this disclaimer. It is important that whatever thoughts or opinions are being shared, they are actually our personal opinions, not related to our organizations for which we work. And also the content of the material is from public domain. So if it may be copyrighted and other things, so the copyright and other things are with the respective authors and publishers. So we do not hold anything. These are all publicly collected information which we will be sharing today. So now, what is intelligence? So what makes us Homo sapiens? So there are five important things, I would say six, that make these are called cognitive abilities. So what are these? These are reasoning, when we reason about something. Then this concept of problem solving, concept of planning, concept of abstract thinking. Like we can think about something which may not be there. Like for example, in Bible we talk about Leviathan, a sea, a monster, may be there or may not be there, but we talk about it. So abstract thinking, then complex idea comprehension, and then learning from experience. So these are all important cognitive abilities which we possess. And a measure of these is actually called intelligence. So how much of each one of these we have, that much more intelligent, we become. So that is how we define intelligence. And intelligence is a subject which is not a new subject. People have been talking about it from Aristotle and even probably before that. And a lot of questions are being asked about intelligence. So let us all first understand, how we define AI, or artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a broad subject and interdisciplinary field, that aims to create machines or systems that can perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. So, for example, if a task requires reasoning, learning, perception, decision making, or problem solving, so if we make a machine which can do any of these things, then we are actually doing AI, or artificial intelligence. There is another, definition. This definition was given by John McCarthy, who coined the term AI in 1956, around that time. So it is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. That is how he defined it. And there is another professor of philosophy and director of Turing Archive in one of the big universities. So he has defined AI as the ability of a digital computer or computer controlled robot to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings. So this is how we define AI. And what is common? The common thing is, that we create systems. First of all, there has to be some system, which can exhibit a form of intelligence or rationality. So we can say that mathematically AI is nothing but a mathematical function. And when we can make a function, to do a particular task, so then we can say that, we have created an AI system. So this is a very simple definition, but this is the fundamental definition. It is like, I mean, it will answer many of our questions later on when we understand what AI actually is. It is a mathematical function. And for that matter, ChatGPT, about which we will be talking, it has 175, billion parameters, the version that we will be using today. So it is also some kind of function. And you see the number of parameters, 175 billion parameters are there in this particular AI. So how we summarize AI? AI systems, first of all, learn from experience. They have this feedback system. They arrive at their own conclusions. They appear to understand complex real world case or scenario, participate in natural language dialogues with people. This is the subject today, ChatGPT, and have cognitive capabilities like learning and problem solving. So we can see, how old AI systems are. First AI system was probably around 1951, which can play these two games like checkers and chess. So this was made by scientists at that time. There was very important event in the history of AI in 1956 when, great researchers, they met together and they um, set out the course for future AI research. So this was John McCarthy and Marvin Minsky, Shannon and Nathaniel Rochester. So these great people, they met in 1956 and they coined a new term. It is called artificial intelligence. Before that, there was the term called cybernetics, which we use even today. And they wanted to distinguish the word cybernetics from AI. So they coined this new term, artificial intelligence. And in 1956, a very important program was made. This program could, prove the theorems from, this very great book, Principia Mathematica by Russell and Whitehead. So it can take a theorem from there and it can prove. So the first AI program, I would say, which we will be talking today, such kind of program was made in 1956. You see how old the discipline is. And the deep learning system, which are based on something called perceptron. Perceptron is nothing but, a mental model of our brain. So our brain has neural networks, and perceptron has something called artificial neural network. So this was made in 1957. And that is how the AI research continued. And first chatbot was made in 1966. The ELIZA, this is one implementation of the old chatbot because the system may not be there. So how we define AI is in 4 categories, mostly whether AI is thinking humanly, whether AI is thinking rationally, whether AI is acting humanly, or whether AI is acting rationally. We come to this concept now, generative AI and ChatGPT, and I would request Suman to take it up further. I'll stop sharing. Suman.
Yes. Thank you, Bhagirath. Let me share my screen here. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you, Bhagirath. Now I'm going to talk about what we are here for today. That's talking about ChatGPT, right? Everybody has heard the buzzword if you have not already used it. But before we talk about ChatGPT, you also need to understand the context, right? It's just not ChatGPT. It's about generative AI. So we are seeing a revolution, and ChatGPT is one of the prominent ones, but they all fall under an umbrella called generative AI. So I'm going to explain that concept first. So what is generative AI? Let me move this here. Yeah. So generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence where you can create new and unique things. So this is different from the previous AIs. So you can create images, videos, music, audio, text, and all. You're not programming the AI to do it. You're just prompting it. You're asking it to do something, and it's going to do it, right? And that's the new thing. And also to understand, in terms of previous AI models, they were very good at pattern recognition and prediction. But now this new generation of AI is generative. So you generate new content. And so that's the difference you have to understand. So I'll give you some examples. The first one is very interesting. It's creating realistic faces. Also, people call them as deep fakes, right? And these people don't exist. But this is created by a generative AI. I'm going to see if you can change my screen sharing to... Give me a second. Okay. I have to, can you see my screen here?
Okay. It's the same screen.
Are you seeing the same screen or a different one?
Yeah, yes. Okay, now. Yeah, now we can
now,
see.
Okay. So this is the website, right? And I click these images, right? So these people that you see, I mean, some of them are not right, but they don't exist. They don't exist, right? And this is an old version of it. And there's another version of it that I think I might have to, it's not in the same.
Yeah, I think you jumped once to this screen. There was one more screen before this problem.
Yeah. I don't know if I can just jump. Can you see it?
No, it's not visible.
It's the same screen with the little child's image.
Okay. So sorry, I can't.
You can open the URL here, no? I mean, in this browser itself. Is it possible?
So there's some. Sorry for the. Okay, it's not working. So there's
Or you could stop the screen share and do it again if it's frozen or something like that.
Okay. So I mean, we're talking about this face generation. I mean, the other one actually is very similar to it, but very much more impressive based on new. Okay, I can't. Okay, so I think I can share it now, I guess. Okay, can you see it now? Oh,
Yeah.
I think there's some pop up now. But can you see it? How the faces are
Yes.
changing? Oh, so I think there's some
some ad
subscription button. Anyway, so it's actually much more impressive. It changes. It's not working. Sorry. Okay, so I think we'll just move on. I guess you understand. You understand this, right? So how these images are being created, right? So let me go back to my.
You share the old presentation again.
Yeah, sorry, this is a little frustrating.
Invite times is like that, brother, generally. So
Okay.
I
So
think
is
you
it
can't do
working
anything
now?
else. You have a paywall, right? So it won't help you until
No,
you
it actually worked for me earlier, but now it does not.
It's okay. It's okay. I think you should move on. So
Yeah, I am moving on. It's very impressive what you see there. But anyway, now can you see my screen or not anymore?
We are able to see you. I mean, not the screen.
Okay, sorry. Screen sharing is okay.
This happens when we open, so many tabs, and we.
Yeah, I do. Okay, now we are back.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, so you've seen this fake image AI generator, the one that we just talked about. I mean, there are very impressive versions of it. You can also compose new music. There are generative AIs where you can actually original music that's never been heard, never in different styles you can generate. You can generate code. You can generate images, landscapes, buildings that can be used in advertising, movies, video games, right? And for your own personal use. You can also generate images of yourself in an artificial world. And all of this is through generative AI. And the last one is the text one, which is what ChatGPT is about, right? Which generates text that really sounds like a human, right? And this is incredible because when you actually start using it, you will see how amazing that is. So how does this, how do all these generative AIs work? So to put it in a very simple, so everybody can understand, simple form, think about a chef, right, who learns millions of recipes. And after he learns millions of recipes, do you think a chef would be able to create a new recipe from what he already knows, from the knowledge he learned? Or think about a painter who studied millions of paintings. Would the painter be able to mix paintings in different styles and create something new? Yes, right? And that's exactly what generative AI is doing, right? So if you have these examples, you'll understand why and how generative AI works, right? So, and this is, we talked about ChatGPT, but there are tons and tons of other tools and AI models out there in the last, especially in the last couple of years, and in the last months. There are hundreds of them, literally. It's very hard to even keep track of them. And what you see here are just the tip of the iceberg, right? So you have generative AIs that can generate text, can generate code, images, can generate speech, right? I mean, you might have seen or heard deep fake videos where they really sound like people, the people, but it's a totally deep fake, right? So that's using the speech generative AIs, right? And then you have video generation, 3D and other, right? If you are interested to look into some of these things, I would say not just look at ChatGPT, but also look at other ones that are very, very interesting. Midjourney, Stability AI, DALI, Whisper. Whisper is an audio analyzer. So it analyzes audio and generates transcription, right, using AI. So now let's come to ChatGPT. Okay, so GPT. I mean, we heard this ChatGPT, but most people, I don't think, know what GPT stands for. So the acronym stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It's generative from the concept of generation that we talked about, and it's pre-trained, so it's not happening in real time, and that's the reason why you are able to get the answer so quickly, right? And it's using an architecture which is a breakthrough. It's a transformer architecture, and that's what it stands for, GPT. And ChatGPT is an AI chatbot. This was built by OpenAI using natural language processing to understand user queries in a naturally and conversational form, right? So you can actually chat to it, and it reasons with you, it talks to you, right? It admits mistakes, and you can challenge it, and it says, "Oh, okay, sorry," and then it gives you the right answer. Or it can also understand what you're saying and reject if your request isn't inappropriate, right? So it can understand what you're saying, your prompt, and can respond like a human, right? So I'll give you a demo. I think I hope this works again. Let's share my screen now. I think this should work.
I can also type in if you want comment, but
okay. So
yeah,
here is ChatGPT. I found out how it works now. So you just have to go to chat.openai.com, right? If you haven't used it, and you have to sign up. And once you sign up, you get this screen, right? And here are already some examples, right? So let's start with one of this example already, okay? And just enter, and hopefully it works. Okay, so explain quantum computing in simple terms. And you can see the answer. I mean, I'm not going to read this for you, but you can try it out yourself. But this is fascinating. I mean, you were never able to do this before, but with generative AI technology, we're able to do this. I'm going to present a few more examples here. You can actually ask very simple questions, by the way, also. So what ChatGPT can do is you can ask, like, say, for example.
Yeah, Suman, I will put a question. You please type it. I want to go to.
No, I have. What is the capital of France, right? So it gives you an answer, right? And if you ask a little bit more complex questions, right? So, for example, how many golf balls will fit into the Empire State Building, right? And you can see that it actually reasons out. It actually calculates, right? It tells you how to do that and the method it is using, right? Let me try again. I think it was working before. So sometimes you have to regenerate. Okay. So and you can ask, okay, we have to wait. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, it's generating the answer, right? As it's generating, I can already share some of the things that I've tested in the past, right? For example, here I asked, got any creative ideas for a 10-year-old's birthday, right? And it says, of course. And then it gives a bunch of ideas how you can celebrate a 10-year-old birthday, right? But when I noticed that, I said, hey, these don't look like, I want it for my daughter. I mean, my daughter is not 10 years old, but I'm just saying, yeah. So, oh, the 10-year-old is a girl. And now you can see there's no problem. And it actually changes its recommendations based on the new information you give, right? And it, instead of suggesting, right, scavenger hunt, virtual game night, outdoor movie night, it suggests spa day, unicorn and mermaid party, right? As you can see, this is fascinating, right? What all you can do. And let's see if it was generated. Okay, it's still working. Okay, so here I actually asked how many golf balls would fit into Empire State Building. So it already, calculated it. And then I said, use metric system for your calculation, right? So because you're using feet and inches, and there you go. I mean, you get, the calculation in metric system, right? So of course, it's not very powerful in terms of this ChatGPT is still an older version of GPT. So some of the calculations that it gets is not right? You have, I think Bhagirath is going to talk about that, but that's what it does. I mean, also, for example, here's another example that I wrote, so I asked, write a short story about a group of explorers who discover a hidden treasure deep inside a jungle, but soon realize they are not alone, right? And it actually gives a pretty nice story, right? So you have to really try it out. I mean, what ChatGPT can do is absolutely fascinating. You have to try it out and see and test it out. I think that's something that comes by experience as well. I mean, you realize its power.
Suman, can I try some examples if you allow me?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead. I mean,
is it your thing is stopped or?
Yeah,
it is
I'm sure. Stop my screen. Yeah.
Okay, just a minute. So here we see some more examples. I will just share my screen. It is somewhere open here. Yeah, so I say that, I want to go to Jaipur, for a 3-day trip, 3-day vacation, if I say. And then I say, prepare an itinerary for me, along with lunch and dinner. So lunch and dinner recommendation. So we see that it prepares it very well. And I did it for Darjeeling earlier. Let us see what it says for Jaipur. So it says, certainly I can help you plan a 3-day trip to Jaipur, along with some recommendation for lunch and dinner. And you see the day 1, arrive in Jaipur, check into your hotel and visit Hawa Mahal, a beautiful palace known for its intricate architecture and honeycomb-like structure. After that, head to Jantar Mantar, an astronomical observatory built in 18th century. Then have lunch in this particular place, which is a popular restaurant there. And then visit City Palace in the afternoon. And then in the evening, head to Nahargarh Fort and witness the sunset, enjoy the panoramic view of the city. And then for dinner, for authentic Rajasthani cuisine at Spice Court. So you see the kind of like we really long for, such a suggestion. Somebody can prepare it for us. And then this is just one example. You can also say that, I want to appear for an interview. I say that appear for an interview of a clerk post or clerk for, say, railways. And then you can say, act for me as an interviewer. So it will ask me 10 questions. So it will ask you 10 questions and you can answer each one of them. And it can also evaluate, give you feedback on the kind of answers and other things. So a lot of, this generative AI, it has a very great power, which was not there earlier. I mean, we did not have such a kind of chatbot earlier. We had, but they were not so intelligent. And you see here, Chaukidhani is a happening place in Jaipur, and it says that what all things you can do there. Mansagar Lake also it has suggested. This is for the day 2, I think. And now it is suggesting for day 3. After the breakfast, visit Jaigarh Fort. It is 15 kilometers and so like that. And let me just let it just be completed. I will just take one example from the Bible, because many a time we would like to, have some biblical queries, and later on we will also discuss the limitations, so that we can discuss later on. But I will just share with you, how it gives answer for biblical things. So a lot of recommendations are here, and we can just stop it over here, and we say, tell me 3 important teachings from the book of, I would say, Prophet Zephaniah, and I specify it from Bible or from Old Testament also we could write, but let us specify that, and let us see, what it says, what are the main teachings which are given in this book. So it gives the introduction. It is a short book in the Old Testament of the Bible and contains important teachings which are relevant even today. And here are 3 important teachings of the book. So first of all, God is a just God. So this is the most important teaching it has found. And second one, it has also quoted, from where it is taking that teaching. So it says neither their silver or their gold will be able to save. So like those who are disobedient or those who are living an ungodly life, so there is a teaching for them. Now second one will come. Just a minute, we'll just wait for it.
And just to tell you that this is ChatGPT. You can also upgrade to Plus, as you see on the left-hand side, right? So
this is the free version which I am using.
Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to tell people about that, that there's a free version, which actually works pretty fine. But again, it is a little bit slow, as you see. Not always slow, but sometimes it's slow, depending upon the load, and sometimes you cannot access it. But if you upgrade to Plus, you have to, of course, pay for it. But then it's much faster, and you have always access and can also use the latest version of ChatGPT. So the answers are much, much better. So that's the advantage of using.
Yeah, and you see the third teaching which has come up. First, second is the God desires repentance, and second is God will restore His people. So this is the third important teaching in that book. So something like that, like anything you ask, and it will have some good, at least something which you will respect the answer given by it. So Suman, you can continue. I will stop sharing here. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so let's talk about how ChatGPT is created. Yeah. So there are 3 aspects to it. You should understand. One is that it is a large-scale pre-training model. So again, as I said already, it's pre-trained. So it's generating real time. It's not training the model as you ask a question, but it's already trained and it's trained on a large set of data. And this was never done before. And that's the reason why you see this human-like conversation, right? You can talk to it, and it gives you all kinds of answers because it's been trained on 570 gigabytes of data, and everywhere from books, text, web text, crawling the internet, Wikipedia, articles, all kinds of stuff, right? So in total, about 300 billion words, right, were fed into the system. And so that's what makes it very powerful. And also, apart from that, it uses a breakthrough architecture that actually was developed by Google researchers. And that's incidentally because they actually developed this and they're published in paper. all you need is an attention, right? So that's what they call the paper, and they describe this architecture, which actually forms the backbone of ChatGPT. Without this architecture, there probably would be no ChatGPT, right? I mean, GPT, the transformer architecture, right? And so, I mean, Google actually did that. The interesting thing is that Google never really, it was sitting on this, architecture, the knowledge, that they didn't release any products publicly, right? So, and OpenAI actually went with it, used the architecture, trained its models, right? And then, is able to come up with ChatGPT, and now Google is playing catch up, right? So that's the second part. And the third part is actually, it's not enough to just, use this architecture and train it. You also have to evaluate, right, how ChatGPT is running, right? Like what kind of answers it's giving. So you need something called reinforcement learning via human feedback. So imagine, a human person, right? Like somebody who probably is, a feedback person, right? So he looks at the answer and he compares A and B, right? And he sees, oh, I like this answer, I don't like this answer, right? So for different questions, and then that feedback is taken by ChatGPT and it optimizes on that. And that's how it actually works so well, right? So you need all these three components for it to work. And again, the training data set, as you can see, billions of tokens or words have been fed into this, right? And 60% is the Common Crawl, and then you have books as well, and then Wikipedia, right? And so this is what it is trained on. Okay, now comes very interesting, because just last week, a few days ago actually, right, on March 14th, so GPT-4 is released, and it's far more powerful. I mean, GPT-3 is based on, ChatGPT is based on 175 billion parameters, but GPT-4 is trained on 1 trillion parameters. So it's far more powerful, and the data set also is much larger. And so that's what is a new release, and I can share some of the things that the ChatGPT that you see today cannot do. But if you have access to ChatGPT Plus, then you can use this model. But in this model, it actually takes images as well. It's multimodal. That means that it actually takes images and understands images. So ChatGPT right now, the free version, you cannot upload an image, and it understands image. I mean, look at this. It says that what would happen if the strings were cut. So it just takes the image and it understands that if the strings are cut, the balloons will fly away, right? And that's what it does. And then here's another example. Somebody actually used this. They took a photo of their refrigerator, right? And asked GPT, based on what can I, give me some recommendations of what I can prepare. And so, it actually looked at the image and saw that, okay, there are eggs, there are apples, there are blueberries, there's some meat, right? And suggests recommendation, what you can do with that, right? So this is the new GPT-4. And there's another very interesting one. This is, they actually showed this in the demo. So what they did was they actually drew on a napkin a simple idea of a website, right? It's a joke website. And they gave this image, right? Like exactly what you saw, what you see here on the left-hand side, right? So of the screen. And they gave it to GPT-4 and actually built a functioning website based on just this drawing, right? A napkin drawing, right? So, and that's what it did, GPT-4, yeah. And then now you have also a comparison between GPT-4 and GPT 3.5. And these are all the exams that, GPT 3.5 and 4 have taken. And you can see anything above 60% is, usually considered, as a pass. And so many exams it has passed, right? and some of them are really, really very good. I mean, more than 80%, right? And GPT-4 is the green one, and GPT 3.5 is the ChatGPT, is the blue. So you can see significant improvements over ChatGPT or GPT 3.5, right? I think that's it. And Bhagirath will continue with the limitations.
Yeah, thanks, Suman. So let us share the screen again, and let me come to this one. Just a minute. So we need to understand, what are the limitations of ChatGPT, because why it is important to understand, because it is not, something which can be trusted, just like that. With blind eyes, you just give everything to the system and it takes all the decision. So that may not be possible as of now. And so it is important for us to understand the limitations. So first of all, it can generate incorrect information occasionally, and it can also generate harmful instructions occasionally. For example, like later on, we will talk about some examples. Then it also can generate, biased content. So like it can be biased against a person or against a community or against a ideology. So those things are possible. Then it has a limited knowledge of the world after, 2021. So, I mean, anything which happened in 2022 or 23, you may not get the right answer. It is possible. And also, like, it is as good as the training data. So whatever has been fed into this system, it is as good as that. If we have fed some bad things, so those bad things are also part of the system. So it is, in computer science, we call it garbage in and garbage out. So something like that. And also the very important thing is, the results are not reproducible, meaning if you give same question again, the answer will be different. So it is a unique answer that you get every time. And after that, if you give the same question, it will give you some slightly modified or completely different answer also may be possible. So these results are not, reproducible. And this is very important, because if you use this in medical research, so there everything needs to be reproducible, meaning whatever drug combination or molecule combination it has given for a drug. So if we make a drug with that combination, tomorrow if we again run ChatGPT, it may give a different combination. So that is not acceptable. Like, so for such kind of research, it is not possible, to use ChatGPT. So these are some of the limitations, and we go further. There is this very important concept called hallucination. So we humans, this happens in humans many a time, like when you are in deep sleep, like you are dreaming, you are going to like Alice and Wonderland, something like that. So it can also do the same thing. It can, hallucination is a term which, which it generates a response which is not based on factual information or logical reasoning. It is out of its own imagination or assumption. It can be a fake thing. So for example, it can say that read Times of India on date, say 12th March 2022, and this was the news article on the main page. But it may be possible that such a thing never existed, or it is not there in Times of India on this particular date. So this is called hallucination, and it is a very big problem, and it can happen at for any answer. So if we are using ChatGPT for anything, it is very important that we verify whether the information is correct or not. About 14th of March, when this GPT-4 was released, the same day was the Einstein's birthday, and I wanted to write a post about Einstein. So I said, write a post, wishing happy birthday to Einstein. And it wrote a very good post, and in that it said it is a 148th birthday of this great scientist. And I took it. But later on, I thought, then I tried to calculate, what is the actual year. So he was born in 1879. And then I calculated, and it was 144th, birthday. but it gave me 148, and I posted it. Later on I had to edit the post because I myself calculated and I found that this is not the right thing. And later on I again run the same query, it gave me 142. So such things are possible in ChatGPT, and we have to be very careful. And you can see these limitations on this playground. So you have to just register on their website and run this playground, and you can give some input and you can see the results. So that playground facility is available. So we see here, some examples. I think we have completed 10 o'clock. So we will continue with our presentation. If any one of you would like to, have anything to say, you can start, your question and other things. Meanwhile, I will continue, and Suman will also continue for some part. So here, we are asking a question. Tell me about Elon Musk. And it says, Elon Musk is the founder of this particular company, OpenAI. It has given, somewhere over here. Elon Musk, where it is, he has made substantial contribution to the field of AI, and he is also a founder. But actually, there are many other founders along with him. But it has given only one name, and it appears that he is the only founder. So such things are possible. Then I said, add these two numbers. So it added, that gave me this answer. But real answer is this. So it has a problem with carry, which they have rectified in GPT-4. But in GPT 3.5, if you add these two numbers, you will get this answer. Because it is not doing actual mathematics. It is doing the pattern matching. So it tries to find out two patterns and tries to merge them, to get a third pattern. So something like that. Similarly, if I say multiply these two numbers in GPT 3.5, so it gave me this answer. But the real answer is this. It cannot even multiply because it has not learned mathematics at that time in GPT 3.5 model. So such things are the limitations which we need to be aware. And sometimes, it can give a very common sense will not be there. It will fail at the common sense. So why this might happen is because, you see this particular example. This is the example which is given everywhere in computer science and AI. So this is a syllogism, they call it in AI or in logic. So all men are mortal, and Socrates is a man. So Socrates is, I just left it and press enter. So it gave me the word mortal. Now you see, the mortal has 96.53% as the probability, and it is the highest probability. That is why it gave me the word mortal. So it is not having 100% probability that this is mortal. So such limitations might be there in many of the answers. And now in later on, like for example, in GPT-4, they have rectified this. And here we see, here it is giving the word mortal. And I say, what is the probability of the word mortal? And it says it is not a matter of probability. It is a matter of syllogism. So it has learned this logic thing. So from AI. So such developments are there, incremental developments, like GPT-5 may have some more capabilities which are not there in GPT-4. So we come to today's discussion, which was whether ChatGPT is a boon or a curse. And I would ask Suman, to take it up. What makes it a boon?
Yeah, I think you can keep sharing the screen. Bhagirath, yeah. So we'll just rush through these things. 1 second, yeah. I think we really understand, if you have anybody has used this, can understand the impact of a generative AI, and AI in general, right? And all the benefits, right? And so you would see, you're seeing now like almost like a gold rush. Everybody's rushing to include these powerful tools in all applications. So from so you would have these generative AIs in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint presentations, Google Docs, every aspect of all the apps. You would soon see the integration of generative AI into this, because they are so powerful. One of the, of course, the reason is that it enhances human productivity, and this is obvious, right? So anywhere from 10x to even 100x, right? The productivity is increased because you don't have to look for an answer. I mean, think about the old way of doing things. Like you go to Google, search something, right? And then you find an answer. you find a bunch of links, right? And then you have to click those links, browse through the links, right? That's not there anymore, right? So you have a system, especially with ChatGPT, right? But also all other things that we talked about, whether it's image creation and voice generation and all kinds of advances. You would see that the productivity, the time to generate a content or to find an answer has reduced significantly, right? Something that would have taken a day for you to figure things out or even to learn would be reduced by significant amount. And that also, like, I want to talk about personalized education here. One of the very important aspect, you can have an AI chat like ChatGPT. You can go and ask, like, hey, I want to learn this programming language. Please help me get started. And it'll give you a plan. It'll tell you what to read. And you say, please expand on this, right? And it'll expand, right? And it caters for you. You can ask questions. I don't understand this concept, and it'll answer you, right? And the same thing with, like, for example, drug discovery or improved healthcare, right? So what you can do there is that it can analyze. I mean, I'm not just talking about generative AI now, but also AI in general, right? You have AI that can actually analyze patterns in data, right? If you have
Actually, Suman, in the drug discovery, it can summarize hundreds and thousands of research. So like we cannot read hundreds and thousands of research, a single person, but you can give this ChatGPT 100 papers and it will summarize it for you. So you just have 4 or 5 pages to read and you can get the gist of all those 100 papers, and whatever interests you more, you can go back to that particular paper and read more. So such ways, like if it takes 10 days, you can do it in 1 day or few hours. So these things are helpful.
You can also like give you a personalized treatment plan, right? Based upon your health issue, right? Like doctors can use an AI potentially, right, to give a personalized plan, right, based on your age, based on your health, based on so a very personalized healthcare plan that you can get. So the argument that AI is a boon is like, I mean, it's obvious, it's there. I mean, and you cannot escape it. It is coming, right? In every area, every industry, you would see AI being used. And we are actually at the dawn of an AI revolution. And we don't know what's coming ahead, right? But it is coming, so it's going to be very fascinating. Along with it also, of course, there are threats that Bhagirath is going to talk about.
Yeah. So now we come to some of the area companies which will be some of the businesses or industries which will be affected by AI. So you see here, manufacturing, we already know, then healthcare, retail, a lot of AI is being done here, legal services, which we will be talking more in detail, logistics, what is the best way, best plan route, advertising, it is the core of AI thing, BFSI, banking, financial sector, aviation, we already know autopilot, which is the AI system. Then chemical industry has its own AI applications, online shopping, education, sports, agriculture, this drone based, treatment of pesticides and other things. So then media and entertainment, this is a big area, which because of generative AI, now a lot of applications are here. Software development is again a big area because of generative AI. Anybody can develop any app if you use, ChatGPT kind of thing. So there is a Codex by Microsoft, and other companies also have similar products. Call center, basic answers you can give using chatbot and generative AI. Then energy utilities, mining, lot of applications are there in predictive maintenance, they call it. Then customer experience, a lot of things are there, like you can do sentiment analysis and those kind of things. Hospitality, you can see here, people interacting with a robot which is intelligent. Then fashion, you can choose which dress fits you best or which color fits you best. Then intellectual property, a lot of work is going on here, like how AI can be used in this particular domain. Automotive, you all know, autonomous cars and other things which are coming up as a part of AI revolution. IT services management, again, AI can be used, and even for fortune telling, like instead of using a parrot, you can use AI, like something like that. And then this gaming is anyway AI powered industry. Materials discovery, you can make new molecules using AI. Casino is again a big area where AI can be used. Defense is anyway like big user of AI. Pharma and drug discovery, music industry. Now you can generate new music using AI, and
Mm.
it may be very good also sometimes. So those things are possible. Law enforcement is anyway using AI in a very great manner. And then job search and recruitment. So now comes to, and we come to the question, what makes it a threat? Like, I would not use the word curse, but let us use the word threat, which is more appropriate. So here we say, first of all, the very important thing is existential threat, by AGI. We call it artificial general intelligence. So what is it? So let us come to here, what this great scientist has said is Stephen Hawking, and he gave many, interviews. And in one of the interviews, he says that AI is, it would, when we have, AI which can match or surpass humans, in capability. So it would take off on its own, and it will redesign itself at an ever increasing rate, and humans who are limited by slow biological evolution could could not compete and would be superseded. So this is a great threat, and every big AI researcher or scientist, even non-AI scientists and people and general politicians, and everybody is concerned about this particular aspect, AGI or AI takeover. What will happen if AI will take over us? Then second important thing over here is like job part, like will AI take away job? So you see this chat GPT 4, this latest benchmark, it is published on March 14. So you see here, this is a bar exam which is mostly used by lawyers in the US, and it says chat GPT is 90th percentile, meaning any lawyer which has passed with 90%, uh, it is equivalent to that. So we can ask the same simple question, like, can it replace a well qualified lawyer? And how a lawyer can save himself from being sued, being, laid off from his job? Because what a good, well qualified lawyer can do, this AI can do. So what is it, that would help lawyer, to be unique or to be not replaceable? So this is our soft qualities, which probably, this may not have, like how you deal with your client, how you, take up a case, how do you understand your client, how do you understand your profession, what are your ethics? So those things are important now. It is not your knowledge which is important, because there is a AI which is having 90th, which is in the range of 90th percentile. And you see here in this biology, this is USA Olympiad, biology Olympiad, and you see it is 98, I think, or so. It is in top 98 percentile. So it knows almost everything which, a biology student knows. So we see that, threat is there, but definitely there are ways where we can re-engineer ourselves. And one of the very important thing which is coming up is called prompt engineering. How can you use these models to help you rather than replace you? So that important, skill set is coming up.
Mhm.
Now we have this misinformation and deep fake. We already talked about it. So how that is, really a big problem. You see here, this thing, which earlier people have seen. So deep fake, like Obama is saying something else, rather than the original video, they change it and it looks like as if, he only is saying. Misinformation, they can, like regarding vaccine safety, regarding many other things, people create misinformation and they spread it. So those things are very much possible using AI. And then it can also evade cybersecurity, because AI has a lot of capabilities. So cybersecurity tools sometimes are not able to find it out. It can put malicious code and data in simple files. And then the very important thing is public trust. Because of the AI, people will not trust institutions. People will not trust systems. Like, I mean, hardly anybody can trust WhatsApp forwards or, Facebook videos or Twitter, videos, because most of them or many of them are, I would say, they are, some kind of manipulation is there, especially if it is related to a cause or related to some propaganda. So that thing is a big issue. And AI weaponization, we already talked about it, like mass destruction, human right violation. Then it can escalate conflicts, it can raise false alarm, that this is happening, that is happening. So those, and global stability can be, disrupted because of AI. This is a big concern, because, if some criminal group, for example, this, like people who are having this terrorist mindset, if they get a AI which is very powerful, so they can do many things which can disrupt global peace. So there are, this list is very big, what all bad things can happen because of AI, and these are very 5 good books, which you can read and find out, more important aspects about it. So I think we are at the end of conclusion. And before that, I would just talk one very important aspect. It is called responsible AI or responsible artificial intelligence. So what are the components, which are important in a responsible AI framework? So I just take one example of Microsoft. So they say AI has to be fair, fairness has to be built in. It should be reliable and safe. Reliability and safety is a very important aspect. Like, for example, if a drug is harmful, it should not say that it is safe to take that drug. This thing should never come from anywhere. Similarly, privacy and security, it should not spy, it should not put my security, like somebody is tracking me using AI. For example, Google Map or something like that, which share location. So this is possible, and this AI should help me in my privacy and security. Inclusiveness, people who are of different kind, like women, they are given equal opportunity, or people who are disabled, they have some kind of disability, or they are differently able. So are those part of AI or not? For example, is ChatGPT serving women equally as it is serving men, or as it is serving, like differently able people? So those things are important. Then accountability. If something goes wrong because of AI, who is responsible? What is it that, whom, like, for suppose I have to go to police, so FIR will be on which person? Like, it cannot be on AI. So that accountability has to be there. And then transparency. This is a very big area, especially where this chat GPT has failed, because in for this chat GPT 3.5 and chat GPT 4, that is GPT-4 version, they have not, opened up. This is not an open source. They have the code, they have everything. You do not know how it works. Nobody knows actually. So we do not know, how this system works, how the result comes. So these are very important areas where we need to, take up with these big companies which are working on AI, like Google, Facebook, and OpenAI, and DeepMind, and many other companies like that. So I think with this we conclude our discussion, and I would stop sharing, and we can have any question or discussion. I
Yeah,
don't know.
okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Brother Bhagirath and Brother Suman, for a really wonderful presentation. It has really opened eyes to so many things, and thank you for giving a very balanced view. I think we already have questions, but what we can do is we will stop this live stream and start another stream for Q&A.